Water.
Ice, salt, aint.
That pizza look good as fuck, bro.
Dang, that look good.
I know that's not what I think it is.
A water balloon?
Yes! You just read my mind.
Good evening, gentle furs. You caught me in the middle of taking photos with Elon Musk's wholesome cobalt miners for social media. God, I look handsome in these. But I was just about to go on a safari. I need some new trophies for my lounge. Would you care to join me? Perfect! Sign this NDA though, cause PETA's all up in my boy hole about this on Threads, and I do not need them finding where I live again. You understand. You know, my little morsel? I can't quite think of a topic for my next project, and I was honestly hoping this little venture would help me out. But not only have we not seen any beasts today, we also haven't managed to do anything but get lost and play Pokemon Go. Well, at least I have you, and this view of the beautiful stars. Can't see this in the big city. Should we kiss? I don't know if you're old enough. Wait, hold that thought, you sexy little thing. Think back. I just had a wonderful friggin' brilliant idea. I simply must go home and write about this. Also, good luck getting home on your own. My plane only has enough room for me and this emerald I stole from the natives. Ciao! I'm Saul Goodman. Okay, well, my dear viewer, please keep this in mind before we delve into the surstrumming of this topic. That Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where are the pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Also, a fucking bushel of spoilers. I'm gonna be talking the manga, I'm gonna be talking the anime, I'm gonna be talking about the pussy, we're gonna be talking about the penis! So hold on to that wolfy knot. Let's get into it.
General Chungus, you have failed me for the last time.
Dude, I'm so sorry. I was playing with my ball set. I'm being so serious.
Beastars is a tantalizing story full of fan-flipping-tastic parallels intermittent within the boundaries of sweet, succulent, furry yaoi, which for those of you without a taste for the finer things might actually appear to be a turnoff for the series. But please, sir, I implore you, before you feed lobsters to our prisoners, give them a fucking try. Because Beastars follows the tale, quite literally, of an autistic wolf, discovering the divide between herbivores, carnivores, and those between, with the only things setting the Zootopia levels of animal racism apart are how the story is portrayed with darker themes and cast, as well as the rabbit slut actually getting undressed for us without having to look it up. There's a reason for this, but hold your horses, says the white guy. Wait till we move to the character course of this meal. Speaking of, this show has a wide roster of colorful characters ranging from mob bosses, victims, mob bosses, perverts, sluts, mob bosses, a panda, and foreigners. Ugh. It's got the whole animal-style shebang, with different experiences that are primarily segmented into 4 major arcs, I'd say, though I'm no Therian on the matter, so excuse my ineptness. But from my dim-witted, mold-sucking perspective, this story begins with horned dog puppy boy falls in love with short-stacked bunny broad, then transitions into a murder mystery, similar to if you've played Clue with an ovipositor involved, and concludes with what seems to be dealing with mixed-raced couples. And then something else.
Hey, so Future Goblico here? I was wrong.
I'll figure it out later in the video when I've actually read it. But all I know is Fruity Boy got touched, and I won't make a joke about that right now. Promise. We're gonna be gorging on all of this poo-poo platter. But where to start? Well, I suppose let's play Hide the Egg Roll.
SpongeBob! I was just kidding! Come on! Come on! You guys know I was just kidding, right?
Mess with the panther's cubs, Squidward. And when you mess with the pride, you get the claws. I've been waiting for another hunt. Time to let out the beast.
Now that egg roll is stuffed inside of me, species in Beastars play a significant role in contrast to the rest of the story. With certain characters being looked down upon, feared, neglected, drawn to, you get the gist of it. The most comparable element would be to a clique, social standing, groups, and the typical rigmarole that most high schools have, while those also exist at the same time. Though if you're watching this, your ass probably ate lunch in the bathroom. and you probably haven't the faintest clue as to what I am talking about. But for those of you informed, our main character, being a huge ASD head, both struggles to understand his love for other species, furthermore his own carnal instincts and desires. This is an ongoing theme present from the very get-go, and very well set the stage for most of the main decisive plot points from then onwards.
Well, look at that. There's boobies on my TV.
Starting out, we have our steak-munching, bone-crunching, marrow-sucking, lovable flea bags residing on the more ferocious side of things. Carnivores. As pre-established prior, they have a tendency to vor their classmates under certain circumstances, such as but in turn, they romanticize these feelings at times. The best characters to demonstrate this flavor of the dish would have to be Legoshi and Riz, the ladle of which is a spoiler for Season 2, so bear in mind. Now that the bear is in mind, Riz is said bear in mind. Riz is a brown bear, quote unquote, because I know for a fact I saw his ass on the Frosty machines. Regardless, he takes on the performative role of the big soft cuddly bear, who loves honey for all of his classmates to see. But whoa Nelly, this guy has a fucked up and twisted side, because LOL and behold, he is the killer mentioned at the very beginning of the series. We'll rub into his big belly a little later. For now, he theatricizes his devouring of Tem the twink alpaca, to a degree only cat fiends in Europe can hope to understand, claiming that through consumption they had achieved an understanding nobody else could even fathom, as he now views Tem as becoming a part of himself, until lay epic Legoshi waltzing in like damn boy he's so friggin' tough boy, eats another twink's leg while remaining composed, and retaining his connection to said classmate. See, in doing so, Riz opens up a bit, talking about how he understood all along what he had done being, wrong. But in doing so, he had accepted the secondary role of the vicious killer with a skewed perspective of the entire situation, giving up any hope of a second chance or leading a normal life. He had accepted his fate and filled the position thusly. Legoshi changed that perspective, showing another side to this whole fucked up world. But we aren't talking about the characters yet, god damn it. Zip your pants, Gobliko, and clean that pre-cum too. Carnivores are on edge constantly for the most part, worried they'll be perceived as a threat, scare a herbivore, or worse, injure them. These fears aren't without backing, as devourings happen constantly, as well as injuries. They have to keep in mind constantly their strength, claws, venom, everything, as to not hinder the lives of their bush-munching companions, I suppose. Though despite all of this, they still love and cherish these dweebs. What a complicated world. I could take notes of this, or blow spit bubbles at the Wendy's cashier. Whatever, let's talk to fellers hung like horses and cowering like rabbits next. Big Chungus, or other garden pests. Witty intro here. Herbivores, emphasis on the vor part. I probably made a vor joke already, but you can go fuck yourself. These frail feral bunch live in constant fear, as it's not too uncommon for their coworkers and peers to end up as some big buff bear's entree. They're a smaller, weaker bunch, taught that from the very moment they can understand words. But let's get some examples out there. Haru and Louie. The two horn dogs that they are make for notable examples of prey. If you've been groomed on Discord, you can probably relate to one of these two in one way or another. Probably the one who gets molested by some pussycats rather than making the pussies go poggers, so to speak. Without getting into a rhythm of stupid shit you can figure out for yourself, they are constantly on edge in having to grow up with not only the prospect of all their peers injuring them at any given moment, but also their overwhelming propensity to be stronger, bigger, faster, and generally just more physically acquitted than themselves. On behalf of the, I need to kill and eat these guys part of their biology, which believe me I get, I can hardly contain myself around hookers these days. They need to be physically stronger to catch and kill them, just like predators in real life. Thusly, prey has become rather timid in return, choosing rather to flee or hide than to fight in any given situation. But being forced into a corner, such as the Society of Beastbanger, or whatever this video is about, constantly does, the once timid cotton-tailed freaks are lashing out at their aggressors, in ways such as segregating them in schools and businesses, or trying to put the blame on them at any given opportunity. There are no nice sides to this furry racism, but I'm not gonna get into these fixings of this because a new slur might get invented, or rather an old one might get dredged up.
Okay, I'm gonna say the N-word!
My dad used to tickle me when I was younger. Now I tickle him. Wait, What the fuck is going on in this video?
Is this real?
Where can I find this bear? I would like to find this bear very much. Animal TV show.
When Mommy and Daddy fall in love, Daddy fucks hard, and Mommy goes to visit Too Mad, leaving little freaky baby to figure out their purpose and or what have you. We usually end up with the mixed lot, that being their race.
Fancy meeting you here. It's me, Gablico.
Elephant greens.
Salamo. I just wanted to say, I'm cutting this next bit, because you're not allowed to call them that anymore.
Let's save some racism for later. They've got it generally rougher at times, having to deal with both sides' issues and realizations, along with a good portion of mental and physical downsides from their parents, such as enhanced strength or senses, lack of emotion, taste, or sexual desire, shit to that nature, piled onto the previously mentioned topics of racism, though to an even grander scale, as they quite literally have nobody who they can relate to on the subject. Even other mixed blokes are likely to be a combination of two different beasts than themselves. In this, they find themselves isolated, leading to instability, so to speak. Though not for our MC, who is just, him. It's not so obvious for the first length of the show that Legoshi is 1/4 Komodo dragon, and from my understanding only really becomes important once the plot starts squaring in on the other freaks, like him, Fruity Boy, Mommy's OnlyFans, being the main matters of the subject and dredging up the topic to begin with. Editor, write a funny joke here. I'm gonna go blow Baby Batter into some Fapcraft videos, BRB. Fuck yourself, man.
On one of my properties, I get $100. How about that?
How about that?
Mr. Soprano.
Tony. What, honey?
How about that?
You're right here with you. Tony, who am I?
How about that?
We'll kick this off with our pyrocynical inflated wolf friend, the introvert, rabbit fetishist, and fellow bug lover, Legoshi the gay, gray wolf. A complex character as deep as the lore you'd hear in On Tap, yet as sweet as a Blizzard employee's milk. First appears as a harrowing titan of a boy, lingering and watching from afar. This is obviously due to the fact he's more socially inept than my uncle. Ooh, that's a callback. He's got a big Kamen Rider-ass heart, meaning he thinks he's a superhero in some capacity. But I'm not a freak of nature, so I don't know what all goes on up there. But what he and I think in common is the rabbit woman is hot. See, his feeling around herbivores are as jumbled as possible, usually along the lines of eat her, save her, mating press, or let himself be cucked. His thoughts on the little leaf munchers are tad conflicting, no? And bizarre. Teenage romance, am I right? Yeah, I don't have a clue either. So, let's move on. I'm sure there's more about him, but this video is 4 months behind schedule. Let's hurry this shit up.
Squidward, you're right. Taking out a mortgage to pay off my existing mortgage was a bad idea. I don't have a home anymore. Can I crash at yours? No!
Shadows! No problem, Squidward. Keep it real!
Louis is our in-house Nepo baby rich boy red deer. But he's also a huge... He takes pride in both his status as a red deer, his horns, being an herbivore, and his status among the stage crew and school. But just like his horns, this is all a front. See, everyone in the story seems to be playing a grander role both on the stage and in the food chain. The film crew especially are introduced as heralding grand secrets. Louis is no exception. In fact, he was bought at a supermarket to be served for dinner, and his foot is a constant reminder, haunting him every day with each step this proud deer takes. In actuality, he's still that crying child in the cage, scared, shaking, and alone, only opening up this side when he's hitting the rabbit from the back.
John, you gotta see this!
Brazing over the remaining cast because holy shit, this script is 7 pages already. Big Chunga's girlfriend has always been weak and frail, taught she's smaller than other species, and thusly sought out any way to give herself an edge and make herself equivalent to those around her. In this pursuit, she discovered that men flock to her and open up not just their drawls, but their hearts, by leaving her glazed and marinating in her own wallows. Legoshi is the first to perceive her as a normal person, without filling her nasty vermin pussy to burst. Because that's the real Chubby Bunny challenge.
If Godzilla reappears in Japan or in Japan's coastal waters, you must agree to let us send $10 billion to Israel. Sir, this is a direct request from our president to the Prime Minister of Japan.
Yuck. I'm gonna have to apologize to my mentor for that one later. Ahem. Riz, the bear, our cuddly friend-munching freak, is consumed by guilt. And instead of showing this on his face, or in the background, or at all, his head is purposely cut off out of frame till his segment of the story is pursued by Legacy. His guilt is there, but hidden, just as he is throughout the backdrop. We could delve deeper on that. Oh, we very well could. But right now, I am Matt Stoney, and flavor is second in the meal. Speed is first. Though I would bang / ride / mating press / impregnate / pump and dump many of the characters in the story, if that's any consolation.
I am not dying for Israel, US government. I am not dying for Israel. Like, I just do not, I don't care how much information they got on y'all. I am not dying for Israel. I'm dodging the shit out of the draft if World War III starts because of some fuck shit. Some fuck shit is the best way to describe it. Dude, I just don't care. You know what I mean? It's not my fucking homeland. It's barely theirs. So I'm not willing to die for it. I don't want to get chopped to pieces in the middle of the desert for some shit I don't care about. I want to play fucking Nintendo games and jerk off.
Alright, well, I'd like to briefly discuss the art direction for both the manga and anime, as I've read a bit of it now and can compare the two. Without jinking the flow of this story too bad, I would like to mention how dirty the anime did the story. It cut a lot of small corners which at first glance just seem like extra exposition, but all in all add more depth to each individual in the world, making their actions in the anime make all the more sense. Don't get me wrong, the anime is still wonderful. I mean, I did start this whole thing with only it in mind. After all, but it is within my drooling, brapping mind that I believe they should have kept these things in. Not to mention the raw feel of the art within the manga. It's got a Cheshire Cat grin vibe to it, if that makes any sense. It ups the severity of the fear factor or intensity present at all times, making it feel all the more real in a way. The animals come across a lot more naturally, and their instincts are present and laid bare for all to see. The transition between the two is rougher than my wife's boyfriend to her when I'm having computer time. Though the general malaise is still very well present despite the CGI taking the reins, so to speak. And boy is the CGI present. It's not necessarily a bad thing for once, as it gives the unnatural feel that the original contained well throughout, all while actually not being that bad for CG. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it is the first great, purely CGI piece of media I have seen. And before the Marvel heads shake their Funko Pops at me, I've only seen Age of Ultron and Endgame, and they fucked up so bad in that one they made this guy big and purple. It's got its own charm, though certainly less than the manga. This could be a pierogi versus dumpling decision on your part. And whether you take part in either as well is your own decision. You'll have to make. But you've watched to this point, so I implore you to at least sample it without my incessant drivel in your ears. Because Beastars is a harrowing story I've enjoyed long before I started watching furry porn. Actually, that is most definitely a lie. This came out in my early high school years. But to wrap this up for the DoorDash minority to deliver in the downpour, Beastars tells a fantastic worldview of how everybody is just trying to figure everything out. And nearly everyone you meet is putting on an act or performance in one way or another, only differentiated from other authors' examples being I get a boner when I read this one. So give it a shot or don't. I'm not one for peer pressure, though everybody here would think you're gay if you didn't do this. Come on, man.
If a girl started crying right in front of you,
I would hug her and sit with her. I don't want to be a monster who humiliates her even.
I would stop hitting her.
Jesus fucking Christ, this video took me forever. Formally, I am sorry for that. College fucked me in the ass, a family member of mine is on their deathbed, I've lost a couple friends, and I've had to travel in the States and out of the country a couple times. Needless to say, my alcoholism is back and in full swing, 10 times stronger. And so will the videos, hopefully. I meant to have the Overwatch video done by April 1st, and this in February, if that's any point of reference for how bad I am at this. But if you want to send me death threats or hear about these projects in the future, here's my Instagram and my Discord, both linked below. Next video will probably be gachiakuta, especially since I got a tattoo of it recently. Anywho, shout out OJ Simpson. May he rest in peace. Also, I'm the one that did it. Lamau, he had no idea. Anywho, enough grinding on that dick. Time to put it in, metaphorically. This is the lead into the quote of the day. Scratches behind ear like an anime character shyly. Gee whiz, that's enough beating around my bush, and enough pre-coming. Let's jizz this done. This does not even deserve a captain's log introduction, because this is dead serious. The inside and outside tour I did a few months ago of my house, my mother and father are angry at me. They're blaming it at me. It's my fault. I admit it. It's my fault. About my house off the internet. I'll send the detectives. I'll send in police. I'll send in everything in my power. Infamous bald Keemstar said this once. How brave of him. He also said this.
Fucking righteous fucking nigger Alex is doing this shit.
Alright, well, that about wraps this up. Speaking of wrap, I've got a Chinese finger trap wrapped tightly around the base of my shaft. And I'm gonna go see if my friend Utaro can help, as he's some kind of Asian. Well, until next time, I'll be seeing ya.